Okay, everybody. Um, so I think what we're going to jump on next is getting all these ladybugs off that fly around in the fall. What we're going to jump on next is getting my new mirrors installed. This should be a fairly simple task. I just got to pull out the door panels, unbolt the mirrors, put the new ones on, plug them in, put the door panels back on, and I'm done. Should be that simple. Hopefully it'll be that simple. But you know what? Murphy's Law. Boy, oh boy, sometimes Murphy's Law just rolls right over me. If you don't know what Murphy's Law is, it is the fact that what can go wrong will go wrong whenever it wants. But aside from that, I think we're going to have some fun today, putting my new mirrors on. So why don't we get started and get right on that? Go ahead and take you out here and set you right up here. Alrighty, so to get this door card off, we got, looks like one of them's actually missing. Got another screw there, and then I believe the rest is just clips, plastic push clips. So we'll start by taking this screw out here. And my dog just does not want to shut up. He just wants to bark and bark and bark. And we pop the pocket out. As you can see, there's just the two holes there for the screws that go in and hold the door up against the frame. Ooh, feels like my door handle's loose. Well, I guess we'll have to tighten that while we're in there. Okay, I don't see or feel any more screws, so it should just be a matter of popping the door off. They do make tools to do this. They're kind of like a little U shape with a hollowed out center. And then you just get behind and pop it out. Now, I had one of these. I'm not sure where it went, but for now, we're just going to use a screwdriver. And you just go carefully and slowly. Otherwise, you're going to be buying new retaining clips or possibly another door panel when you do this, because some of these door panels are a little fragile, but this one is not so much. You get it unhooked off the window trim. Oh, what are you hooked on? I don't think you're hooked on anything. You're just being a butt. Because I believe it's acting like it's stuck on this, but from what I remember, yeah. So it's just a clip. It was just an upper clip. And that leads to, well, not do that. That's a problem that I gotta fix now. Just supposed to unclip this connector from the switch. Looks like some of those push clips stayed in. These are in really rough shape, as you can plainly see. I don't really want to order any if I don't have to. Yeah, see? There you go. Now it's out of the door. Of course, there's the door over there. And then, I'm going to take a look here first at the connector. Now, this connector looks like what I have on the mirrors, but we're going to double check that. Because before I go through all the trouble of getting this installed and then it not working, I don't feel like doing that. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take and plug it in, and I'm going to go over to the plugs right in just like it's supposed to. Then I'm going to go over to my mirror function and see if this works. And it does. Now I know you couldn't see it. I'll show you the mirrors once I get them on. There's just not enough space in here to get the camera in at all the right angles. But the new mirror works. When it's attached, this can also swing up and out. That's why it's a towing mirror, so it widens your field of vision. It's also heated. It's got the little heating emblem on it because I have heated mirrors in the truck, which in Minnesota is a very good thing. Take out this little piece of foam, and then we're going to grab a 10 millimeter socket and wrench with an extension, and there's 3 nuts right inside here. I'm going to take them out. Then the mirror will come out. Now I have hardware that came with this. I'm not completely sure what it's for, because you would think the mirror would just bolt. But I think what it is that the mirror is so heavy that it needs an extra support frame. But I'll read them their instructions, you know, thingies that tell you how to do things. And we'll take a look at that and see what this plate here is for, because that's a little odd. Must be for bracing. That's all I can come up with. You know what, as a matter of fact, why don't we take a look right now. Single page of instructions always says high quality. Alright. Included in the bag, bolts, nuts, support bracket, instruction manual. So, tighten the unmounted bolts, which would be these, into the mirror itself. The support bracket is designed to minimize mirror vibration, as the door was not originally designed for a towing mirror. That was my thought. The bracket looks like it goes, well, let's take a look. There's a little piece of foam here. Woo! Don't want to do that. I'm going to knock all the rust off. It's Minnesota. You got to keep your rust on. It's like a fashion statement. Okay, so that's how that works then. They're extended bolts to brace the inside and outside of the door. Good idea. I like that. That shows quality. Start by getting these out of here. The instructions even list using a monkey wrench. Now there's a term I haven't heard for probably 20 years. A monkey wrench. And It's really just a universal term for a universal wrench, like a vice grips or something of that nature. And it's an adjustable wrench. That's all it is. Get this last one out here. I suppose I probably should have put the window down. And that's not very nice of Dodge. I can't put the window down without having a switch in. That's kind of stupid. There we go. Alright, let's get this final bolt out. Or I should say get this final nut out. And then we can pop the mirror off. Take the screwdriver and just pop out the plug here that's holding it into the body. Just like that. One mirror out. These are good mirrors. They might be worth $25 on Marketplace. So I'll set them aside. And the next step is to put the new mirror in. Alright guys, as you can see, it's a bit darker out since since a little bit earlier. I had to break and go and take care of some business, and now I'm back to finish the mirrors. So let's go ahead and get that handled. Alright, so we left off by getting this mirror off the outside of the truck. Now there is some dirt out here where the mirror mounted to. I'm not going to sit there and fight with that. I don't feel like cleaning it, so I'm not going to. What we are going to do though is we're going to follow the instructions and take these studs. Now what I'm going to use as what they call the monkey wrench is a vice grip for me. What we're going to do is we're going to take these studs and thread them in here. Even with my gloves, I can't get a good grip on those. So I guess we're going to need a vice grips right away. And because they're little screws, I have a little vice grips. And then what I'm going to do is just clamp on the center of the shaft here where there's no threads. Get that plug out of the way, and all we're going to do is thread these on down in. Maybe a little bit tighter. And snug. Now, this is cast aluminum. It's not forged. So if you buy something like this for your vehicle, don't crank on it. You will break the frame. Number 2. That darn thing poked me. Nothing like a little bit of aluminum getting jammed into your finger. Not that I'm very prone for injury, so that's going to be a neat issue. All right, let's see how I can go about getting this tightened down, because I have a feeling what might end up happening is having to tighten this down bit by bit. Oh. I'll just put the vice grips on vertical. You can see I'm not touching the threaded portions yet, so I'll just do that instead. That'll be a lot faster. And we get our last stud here. And then we can go about getting the mirror mounted. Being that I'm using the vice grips in a vertical position, just kind of walk it around. Being careful not to damage the threads in any way. And when it stops turning, it's done. Okay, so now we're going to take and put the wire and the studs through here. Actually, we'll get the wire plugged in, or the wire plug in first. There's that. Pull that through. Try to get these holes lined up. It's going to want to go through the other way, it looks like. So what I'm having to do, I don't know if you guys can see this, but because of the design, it looks like the wire has to come around the outside of this stud, and it's going to be in the center of this mirror. All right. Now the other thing is, I actually have vent visors on my truck here too. So now I'm trying to work around them because I got to get this mirror frame down, but I have to also get it around this visor. And this is what you call Murphy's Law. And I'm going to have to break away again. Like I said, farm life never ends. There's always something coming. I'm going to have to break away again, and I'll be back out in a probably be back out in about an hour and a half. I got some business to take care of. Whoa! That's not what I wanted to happen. Okay. That's pretty close. It's definitely pulling my visor out. But it looks like it's about as darn close as it's gonna get. Of course, you know, I paid pretty good money for these mirrors. They're not gonna be perfect because they're not factory, but they are OEM, so they're as close to factory as you're gonna get. So there is things that just need to be done, and it looks like well, let me check the instructions here because I might have to pull that mirror back off. Well, it doesn't show anything about this piece of foam here, but this piece of foam here has holes in it for the hardware. So it looks like that goes on the outside. Yeah, I'll have to come back out here. Just getting shorted on time today, I guess. But we'll get it done. Alright, guys. Well, it's getting dark again. But things need to get done. And I'm going to go ahead and get working on this video. Because this video needs to get done. One of the things I did notice, I showed you guys this little foam piece earlier. It's got a hole punch out for the center for this cord, and it's got 3 punch outs for the bolts. So this obviously goes between the body and the mirror itself. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this back out so I can get this put in and get that mirror put back on. So, not as easy to get back out apparently. Patience. There. Now I've got to pop out this little rubber plug that I had to push in. Oh boy, wow. Okay, so I know the light is not the best. This video may not be my best video due to the lighting. I'm going to do what I can. I got as much light as I can coming off my truck and my barn and everywhere else. So you're actually able to see me outside. And I hope this goes well. And you will be able to see everything I'm doing. You guys kind of saw earlier how it got started, and that was in the light. Now we have our little foam insulator. Now, this foam insulator goes in one way at least. I'll try and figure this out. Oh, okay, so it goes in just like that. And like I said, there's a spot for the plug to go through, and you can see that there's a notch right here for the cable to run around. So get the cable in through there. get the plug through the center here, just like that. And then we got the well, that's kind of interesting. Because this doesn't fit through here. And there's nothing on the instructions that says anything about this little foam insert. So, maybe the foam insert goes on the inside so that this metal plate doesn't just sit and grind on the metal there. Maybe that's what it is. That would make more sense. But then there's also this that goes right there. But then there's no place for the plug to run through. Well, if this isn't interesting, I don't know what is. So, if that goes on there, the wire has to come through somewhere. That's quite interesting. Okay, so I made a decision. I made a little tear there to be able to get this through here. Now I noticed that this notch must be for this little hole here. Either way, it is quite clear that this is the foam seal that goes for the outside to protect the body. So I'm going to go ahead and figure that it goes just like this, and I didn't necessarily have to make that tear, but the foam goes right there and will press against the cab to keep the metal from scratching the paint on the outside. This will come up through here and go through the body, and then the other side will just be the catch. So we're going to go ahead and stick this plug back in here again and pull the power cable through and work again to try to get it past my visor. Now I don't know if you guys understand what I'm talking about with a visor on the outside. It's those window visors, those that are made for air and rain. Some cars have them, some cars don't, and I bought them for my truck. And they are overlapping the top edge of the mirror. So it looks like that's close to being in place. The bottom is still quite far out. And then this will come down through here. The foam, however, I'm still a little confused on, because the cable needs to run through that. and I have no idea what this goes to. And this is a sticky backed item, so there's even more confusion with that. It literally has no place to go. So I guess I'm going to be leaving that out, and we will get this in here, and we're going to put a nut on the upper stud to get it started. And now we can get these bottom ones in place. And we'll start tightening them down. And it seems that as you tighten this down, it'll help align it and help pull it into place and close up the gaps on the outside. And you can see that plate just popped a little bit, so that means there's still a lot of play going on in here. And then there's a lot of movement on the outside. That's why I'm doing these one at a time. All right, so the bottom is in, but the top is definitely got quite a gnarly gap on it. So let's take a look here and see what's going on, because I'm not going to live with this gap. It's not only going to let moisture through, but it could very well affect how things work. And that tightened it up some. Well, it looks like there is some room for improvement here on these. On these nuts. Well, they keep pulling down some. It looks like we're finally getting to a point where they're sinking. Or tightening completely, I mean. I use the word sinking. Okay, so those are as tight as I could possibly make it. I'm going to take another look here. I know you guys won't be able to see yet. But I'm gonna see what I can take a look at here. Okay, so we have fairly good news. The mirrors, well, at least this one so far. I know I haven't gotten to my driver's side yet. This mirror is tightened down. It's tightened down as far as the bolts will go. There is a very slight gap in between the plastic outside frame of the mirror and the door of my truck. Now, am I happy with that? Not really. Maybe I'll put some sort of black silicone or something to fill up those crevices. I've seen worse. I've seen way worse. I would say that these mirrors are probably as close to OEM as you're gonna get. You will never find a perfect item that's not OEM. Quality control is not usually part of third-party makers. They try to get close, and that's as far as they care. I'm satisfied with this as it is. And with that being said, I can now plug the mirror in, put the door panel back on, tighten up my door handle. That's loose. And it'll be done. So I think it was a good investment. And I'm going to get the other one done too. And then I believe the best option would then be just like with the tires. Instead of you guys not being able to see everything clearly at night, when is pretty much the time that I get to do most of my work. You guys probably haven't even been able to see my face good enough because I have my hat down. Sorry about that. Anyways, most of the time that I get for free time to be able to do stuff for me is in the evening. I work from morning till about 6:30ish, and then at that time between 6:30 and bedtime is my time to be able to get my projects done. So that's why I work a lot in the dark and show you guys during the day, if need be, the finished product. And that's what's going to happen with this one. I'm going to finish this. We're going to get it put back together. And then I'm going to do the other side. I'm not going to bother filming the other side because you guys saw this side. And that side is exactly the same. It's just on the driver's side. So that being that, I'll finish this up. And then once that's done, I will come out tomorrow and you guys can see it in the day. The finished product with my new towing mirrors. So let's start by getting this door handle that's really wobbly tightened up. And this is just going to be, it's not tight from wear, it's just tight from age, or tight. It's not loose from wear, it's just loose from age. Bolts that don't have Loctite thread locker on them, they'll wear out, they'll slip out eventually. And there, door handle's tight. So next step, plug the mirror back in, and that's just a simple case of taking this wire. How do I want to do this? Feed it back that way so it kind of curves in, I guess. Plug it in there, and that's that. That's the heating element and the mirror. Go ahead and unplug the controls here. For the window and the lock. I still don't understand how this came apart. there's no hardware to hold it in place. It must just snap in. So again, this is done. I should just shove this in here, and maybe I will do that. Give a little bit of a wind insulation value. Just kind of shove that in the hole there, and that'll be that, protecting from extra noise. There we go. All right. Now, these are towing mirrors, so they should just tilt up. Just like that. A little loose there. Not sure if I like that, but I don't think there's anything I can do about it. All right. Now that I wiggled that around, do these tighten down any further? A little bit. Yeah, got a little bit more out of them. Now I understand why a lot of truck owners that have these towing mirrors, why they leave them extended all the time. Because I imagine at some point that connection that folds it in and out may start to wear or rust. And it's easier and better to have the mirrors out than it is to have them in and not be able to use them. So that time may come, but it's not today. Okay. Should I probably use thread lock on here? Probably. Do I have it? No. I'll just have to watch it, I guess. I also don't have thread lock for my lug nuts yet. Maybe I'll have to get some, and I'll have to come back in and thread lock all this hardware. But for now, it is what it is. And we're going to go ahead and pull out all these. You know, I really wish I knew what happened to my... I had a special tool used to pull those out. And I can't find it. Alright, so for now, I'm just going to use a needle nose. There. There's another one. Now, I do also have a bad electric lock module on my driver's door. That's been bad for a while. It works half the time. And at some point I may put another one in there. Do a video just on that. But it's not a priority for me, at least. So that might be something for a later date. I'm also assuming that since there's a hinge right here, that these must fold in also. Now, Yep, I was right. There we go. Just like that. Okay, so it folds in and tilts up and down and is power and heated. If you guys have a 2nd gen RAM and are looking to do something like this, I can give you the information where I got these from. Just go email me. My email contact is in my About tab on my YouTube page, and I can send you the information on where I got these mirrors from. There's a lot of mirrors out there, and there's a lot of cheapo stuff out there, and I tend to take my time and not just order the first thing that comes to my mind. I will look and do my homework to find out what is going to be the best bang for the buck and the quality. Okay, and looking at this door panel again, there is a place here for the module to just snap in, which is, I would assume, why it just came out on its own. Maybe if I just pop this whole thing out and I can get it in that way. Alright, so here's the door lock and window cover. You can see on the back here there's tabs for everything to snap into place. There's some tabs on the outside edges. There should be on the inside too, but hey, that's just how they made them. So all you gotta do, just put it in backwards. Okay guys, how'd you do this? Nope, I was right. Facing back. Facing towards the back. Okay. There we go. So it is snapped into place. And then we'll put this back into the door. And all it does is just snaps in the door also. You know, that's how things were built back in the 90s. Cheap. Cheap and mass marketable. However, the one thing Dodge did do right is they made a quality vehicle, and they've been making quality vehicles for a while. And before any of you Ford or Chevy guys say, well, what about them? Well, yeah, they did too. Actually, most of the big three made good vehicles up into the 90s. It was into the 2000s and forward that they started making iffy stuff, up until recently, when, I'm sorry to say, I fully believe the Ram is much more capable than the Chevys or the Fords at this point. I go with quality and I follow quality, and that's what I've chosen. Doesn't mean that I don't like Ford and Chevy. I do. I have all sorts of makes. But if I had a choice, I'll choose Dodge. And yes, Ram is still Dodge. At least in my head it is. Alright. So we're going to plug the door back in. Alright, so that module is in place. Now all we got to do is get the rest of these tabs lined up. And I do apologize for making a night video like this. I don't like doing it, but I don't have a lot of options if I want to make videos. It's either not make them or make them when I can. Now, you guys missed it last night. After I put things together, sitting in the barn, just relaxing, heard some really insane creature crawling on the roof of my barn, making some weird noises I've never heard in my life. Kind of sounded like a bat and a hummingbird were fighting. And about 5 minutes later, I hear it crawling down the side of my barn, my steel barn. And then it decides to make its way into my barn. Damn thing was probably 3 inches long. Some giant water bug or something of that nature. It was freaky as all get out. Never seen one before. Maybe it's from all the torrential rain we've had lately. You know, we go a whole summer, 4 months with getting 3 inches of rain. Then we go for the last 2 months with continuous rain. I don't know. It was one weird looking bug. I'll tell you what. And it even gave me, who isn't afraid of anything, kind of the heebie-jeebies. Had little weird antenna on the front of it that looked like it was gonna shoot a lightning spark out at me. It had eyes as black as its soul. Okay, now here is where the not so fun begins. Because behind this door is those white push button things, thingamabobbers that connect this to that. And they bend very easily. So lining everything up correct can sometimes be quite the chore. And if one is out of alignment, then you get to start the whole process all over because you just bent one of them and have to pull everything back apart all over again. So I'm gonna steal my light for a second, which probably just puts you guys in the dark. And you know what? No, go ahead. You guys can come with me and see if so if you look inside there, you can see that little white push tab right inside there. And every single one of those has to be aligned correctly. And there are about 15 of these inside this door panel. So I'm going to back you out for a second. Try to get you a better shot of this, if that's even possible. There, you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. Alright. And don't feel bad. Even if this was during the middle of the day, it would still be this difficult. These are just frustrating to get in. And this whole door panel is off kilter now. Alright, so that's squared up top now. Did that fix the problem down here? Kind of. Yep. Lined up. And these doors are just rotten. All right, everyone. So the door panel's back on, minus the pocket. So I'm going to close this up. Got a couple screws to put in, and it is done. So the whole purpose was to get that mirror on the truck. And I will show you tomorrow during the daylight what it looks like down and what it looks like up. So for now, I will say goodnight, and I will see you guys all in the morning. Okay, everyone, welcome back. It's the next day. We're going to take a look at the mirrors that we weren't able to see last night when they got installed. Alright, so just starting from the passenger side here, you can see that there's more mirror to be able to look into, including a blind spot mirror that'll help see along the side. My truck has a wider mirror stance now to go along with the wider tire stance. The mirrors look a lot better than what was on their factory. But of course, aesthetics was not the purpose for the change in the mirrors. I have discovered, and I'm not sure how they're doing it. Maybe they're using a micro switch, but the mirror controls in my truck work correctly with the mirrors down as they are now, and also in the vertical position. So there must be some sort of micro switch inside the mirror that's telling it it's up or down and to work in whatever position it's supposed to be. So why don't I go ahead and gonna flip these up, and I will show you what it looks like with the mirrors in the outward towing position. Alright, so now the mirrors are in the outward towing position. You can see them, they're out set quite a bit farther. That will give me plenty of clearance to see around my camper and trailers, which was the purpose of the purchase to begin with. Let's go ahead and take a look at them in the up position from the back side. Alright, so this is the mirror in the up position. You can see it set out quite a bit further. That way I can see around my camper and trailers. That'll give me more safety, more visibility, and with the smaller mirror, which is a blind spot mirror, it'll allow me to see next to my truck to make sure there's no traffic next to me while I'm going down the highway. Okay, everyone. Well, that's it for the mirrors. Next will probably be the muffler. There are, like I said, little odds and ends. I also have to do the front axle shafts to get that ready for winter. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it for you. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you all later.